Hey everybody, it's Chris from Guilty Words, where we unravel crime one word at a time. Welcome back to our Sarah Sidebar series, where we're looking into some of the courtroom discussions we couldn't hear during the trial. Today's Sidebar, number 35, is a turf war, not between lawyers, but between experts. One says Sarah Boone was terrified, the other says her words prove otherwise. And stuck in the middle is Mr. Owens, trying to defend PTSD with a straight face, while the state quotes laughing and playing. Once again, the voice acting is done by my daughter Katie, and let's take a look and a listen together. Let's refresh our memories for this. Owens' expert painted a clear picture. Sarah was triggered by past abuse, classic PTSD, and when George scared her, she snapped into survival mode, battered spouse syndrome. So far, so good. But here comes the linguistic wrecking ball. It's a story that works beautifully, until the state reminds everyone what Sarah actually said about that night. Let's listen in.
Decided to play, we're just stupid like that. Sure. We were putting puzzles together, we were doing artwork. You can see the puzzle that we finished in there, and then the artwork, and then decided to play hide and seek, just being stupid.
Okay.
So he decided to get in the suitcase. So I thought it would be funny to, and he was laughing about it too.
When I tell you, I was so happy. Like, it was such a good day. I kid you not. The weather was beautiful outside. I'm the one that had him go inside so we can do puzzles and painting and listen to music or whatever else he wants to do. So then he starts doing whatever it is we're doing together in the living room, and then starts talking, because I think he gets comfortable with, okay, you know what, we're here, it is a good day.
The state's expert takes the stand and drops one simple line from Sarah's own statement. We were laughing and playing. The 5-word phrase obliterates the fear narrative. Linguistically, it's called semantic contradiction, when your chosen verbs don't match your claimed emotion. Translation: your own language just testified against you. Owens snaps. He objects not to the facts, but to the interpretation. He can't stand that the state's expert is interpreting Sarah's language for the jury. Irony alert. That's literally what expert witnesses do. Let's listen to the arguments at the bench, which have been edited for time and content.
She's not expressing a medical opinion. She's not expressing a scientific opinion. She's expressing an opinion as to whether or not her behavior, her conduct, her statements constitute an imminent threat. That is the province of the jury. She didn't say that. Yes, she did. That invades the province of the jury. That's a decision whether or not she had imminent risk of harm or perceived an imminent threat is a question for the jury. This expert can express opinions on science, on medicine, but not on the ultimate issue of fact, and explain to the jury that this defense doesn't qualify, that you should rely on me as an expert and I'm going to make the decision for you. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, by telling you that under the facts expressed to me by Sarah Boone, she was not perceiving an imminent threat at the time. Response?
You can almost hear the internal monologue. Only my expert gets to influence the jury. That's not a legal argument. That's a custody battle for the narrative. Prosecutor J doesn't take the bait. He reminds the court that every expert is allowed to offer an interpretation. His delivery is so polite it hurts. And unsurprisingly, Mr. Owens is not happy.
She's not up there saying Miss Boone was unjustified in doing what she did. She's not saying that justifiable use of force doesn't apply. What she is saying, in her opinion, based on the facts that she relies on, given by the defendant herself just a couple of weeks ago, that this particular set of testimony and evidence that has been offered through their expert, Dr. Harper, doesn't apply. Any other argument, Mr. Owens? That's totally wrong. He claims The prosecutor claims Dr. Harper came in and said BSS does apply. That's true, but he just got through saying and trying to get the witness to say BSS is not to be regarded. Post-traumatic stress is not to be regarded. It doesn't even come into play. Post-traumatic stress, battered spouse syndrome, does not even come into play because at the time she was facing, according to this witness, no imminent risk of harm. Therefore, you can discount everything you hear, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, about battered spouse syndrome. How does that have anything to do with whether or not it's an improper legal opinion under 9703?
That's called discursive balance. When you level a conversation by stating the obvious so calmly that it feels like a slam dunk. Judge Cranick ends it cleanly. Let the jury decide. Translation: Gentlemen, stop fighting over who owns English. And with that, the sidebar ends. Owens defeated by the very linguistic freedom he tried to control. This sidebar shows how fragile a legal story can be when it relies on controlling the language. Owens built his case on interpretation, that Sarah's words meant something different to her. But language is a public contract. Once you speak it, anyone can assign their own meaning. And that's exactly what the state did. So that was Sidebar 35, the moment when Mr. Owens realized that even his own expert witness won't always speak his language. His PTSD defense was built on fear, but the state's expert used the oldest weapon in the courtroom, Sarah Boone's own words. We were laughing and playing. 5 words that demolished an entire psychological theory. This is where linguistics meets law. Because when you put language under oath, it doesn't care whose side it's on. You can call it PTSD, you can call it panic, but if the words themselves say, I wasn't scared, the words win. That's the part Mr. Owens kept fighting. Not the facts, but the interpretation rights to English. In the end, it's a reminder that the courtroom narratives are just stories waiting for one inconvenient quote to burn the script. Thank you for joining me tonight. I really appreciate your time. And if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe and join us for more. We'd love to have you back. And in the meantime, until I see you in the next video, please use your words kindly, wisely, and well. Take care.